5 of the NFL season is in the books. We had the Cleveland Browns beating my Baltimore Ravens. We had Graham Gano kicking a 63-yard field goal as time expires to beat the Giants. And we also had Le'Veon Bell getting traded for Kenyon Drake in our fantasy league. With all that being said, I wanted to send out a video kind of recapping some of those items this week and as it applies to our fantasy league. Honestly, someone does this in one of my other leagues, and I really like it, so I wanted to go ahead and do it for our league. Plus, I don't commute to work anymore, so I have a lot of time on my hands and don't really have anything else better to do. So with that being said, I wanted to quickly cover some of the trades that were made this week, considering that 7 out of the 12 teams in the league were able to make trades this week, which is great. So let's hop right into it. The first trade that I wanted to cover was Carson Wentz for Dion Lewis. I traded Carson Wentz to Tim for Dion Lewis. Honestly, not a very exciting trade. I had multiple quarterbacks on my bench, and I needed a running back. Tim was sick and tired of having Russell Wilson as a starting quarterback. Fun side note, Russell Wilson actually went on to score 19.92 points this week. This is actually 2 points less than Tim's newly acquired Carson Wentz. Nothing really much to cover here. Next trade that I wanted to go over is Chris Godwin and Marshawn Lynch for Brandon Cooks. Rich traded Brandon Cooks to Mike for Lynch and Godwin. This trade's a little more interesting. Whenever you have a 2-for-1 trade, makes things tricky with an additional roster move needed. Rich went ahead and dropped Dan Bailey, his only kicker, only to go ahead and drop Chris Godwin several days later for kicker Brett Maher. Bailey did outscore Maher this week, 13-12 in fantasy points, but honestly, who really cares about kickers? Overall, seems like a reasonable trade. Wide receiver for running back based on need. The next trade that I wanted to go over is Jarvis Landry for Devonta Freeman. Things getting a little more interesting here with two top positional players. Matt gave up Freeman and Trey gave up Landry. This is another case of trade for positional need. Both teams got better here. Let's be honest, Trey's excess wide receivers really helped him out here. Now his running back situation is looking very good with Kamara, Freeman, and Yeldon, assuming Fournette is still built of glass. The same can be said for Matt's wide receivers. Mike Evans and Jarvis Landry, that's a pretty solid duo that's going to score lots of points every single week. And another trade between myself and Rich was Keenan Allen and Tevin Coleman for Le'Veon Bell and Tyler Lockett. At 1 and 3, I honestly just needed to make a move. Why not try to get Le'Veon Bell, a top 2 running back in the process? He's going to have to sit out a couple weeks, but I need that big upside for later weeks, and that I can hopefully have it carry through the playoffs. Rich got a top 10, maybe even top 5 receiver and a backup running back. I got a potential top running back and a solid wide receiver. We'll see if the risk pays off, or I can go ahead and lose this entire league based on this trade. Now for the trade that really stirred up everything. Kenyon Drake and Le'Veon Bell. For that, we have a special guest.
Due to some technical difficulties, we do not have audio on this interview, which is a shame. Here's a quick summary. The Yankees lost. The Kenyon Drake for Le'Veon Bell trade was between 2 consenting adults. Rich approves trades while he's out in the middle of the woods as a commissioner. He also likes Busch Light. Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Twisted Tea will give your day a twist with its real iced tea taste. Twisted Tea's a hard iced tea brewed like a beer that tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real iced tea. Heading downriver, cheering on the Twisted Tea car. After mowing the lawn, Twisted Tea hard iced tea, cool, refreshing, goes down smooth. With a kick. Every day should be this twisted. Real iced tea taste with a kick.
Still the quality, even though not a great tab there. For the power rankings, I have a spreadsheet that takes into account the number of wins, average points scored, the most points, and the least amount of points scored by each team in a given week. I took all those numbers, I weighted them with the most emphasis on wins and average points scored. Really wins are the only number that really matters in the sake of our league. If anyone is interested, I will go ahead and send over a PDF copy of the spreadsheet. There's some more stats in there that you may find interesting. So for the power rankings, coming in at 1 is Rich. Then we have Trey, T-Bone, B-Bone, James, Matt, Tim, Connor, Tyler, Mike, Chris, and rounding at the bottom we have Brian,